the way that we live is not for everybody. We're going to arrive in a violent manner. Boy, it's life. So, I'm just messing with you guys. Let me stop playing with Joey Jr. like that, man. Let me stop playing with Joey Jr. So if you didn't hear the news, Joey Jr. has been demoted. Dan Quinn will be taking over play calling duties from Joey Jr. So he will be doing that effective immediately now. I feel like he should have just fired him. And I thought in my mind that something was going to happen today. I actually thought he was going to get fired. I really did, because it was like the national media was coming out with stuff like Dan Orlovsky was like tweeting stuff out about how bad the defense was. And I mean, you just look at the last couple of games anyway. I mean, we gave up 44 to the Lions. We gave up 44 to the Cowboys. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. So it was what it was with them. But when you lose consecutive games, what is it, 4 games in a row now by at least 21 points? And that hasn't been done since 2002. We had 44 to Dallas, 38 to Seattle, 4 passing touchdowns in the first half to Sam Darnold, which is ridiculous. That's just inexcusable. Torrey Horton, 2 touchdown catches, and the guy Smith, who's barely played any snaps in the NFL, he gets a one catch for like 60 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs did whatever he felt like doing. Khalif Raymond, wide open time after time again. Jahmyr Gibbs, 142 yards. And even last year, even when we won games, even when we went 12-5, the reason why we went 12-5 was because of 5 and the offense, for the most part. It's not like the defense was out there winning games. You can count on your fingers or on your hand how many games the defense really showed up last year. The Browns game where Deshaun Watson was awful. Excuse me, awful. Kyler Murray, where Cliff knew the best out of Kyler. He could kind of get after Kyler Murray. I feel like Cliff had some pointers to say about Kyler Murray to help Joey Jr. and that defense out. So the Cardinals game, the Browns game from last year, the Panthers game, which was Andy Dalton, who was awful. The Saints game, we almost let Spencer Rattler walk us down and win that game. Who else? The Lions game, we had to outscore them. I mean, we got some pick sixes. We had the pick sixes and some turnovers, but other than that, we had to outscore them and outduel them. The Giants game this year against Russell Wilson, who was awful. I'm just trying to think of some games where we really, really played well. We beat up on Justin Herbert, but once again, his left tackle was out. A couple of his offensive linemen were down. So you really can't point us at the Titans game against Will Levis, who's awful. Last year, we blew them out. That's really it. I can count on my hand and be like, wow, the defense really showed up today or tonight. And I know Frankie Louva was all pro last year. Bobby was all pro. Dante had a bunch of sacks last year. But we couldn't stop the run last year. We were one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. We're one of the worst run defenses again in the NFL. We can't stop the pass. You can't stop anything. Tucker Kraft, 100-something yards. Tight ends, we can't. Tight ends always running free and running wild. Guys having career games after career games. CeeDee Lamb putting his hand in the air. We have guys running into each other over and over again multiple times. Quan Martin and Marshawn Lattimore collision, crash course. Out there multiple times running into each other while guys get yak. And, Michael Penix, we made Michael Penix look like an NFL quarterback when he looked awful in London the other day or wherever that game was located. So, I mean, George Jr. struggled he was up at the booth at first, which Dan Quinn was at the booth. He was in the booth with Dallas. And honestly, like if you heard Joey Jr. talking in his press conference, his voice was cracking and he sounded kind of nervous. He said he asked Dan Quinn to move down from the booth. And honestly, I don't know if he really asked him. He probably was told to move down from the booth. And players asked for Joey Jr. to be moved down from the booth as well, like it was going to really make a difference. And then not only that, you got guys crashing out. Deron Payne, uppercut to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Javon Kinlaw making contact with a ref. Quan Martin pointing at some guy, even though Quan Martin said he was kicked in the gonads, which, like I said, you don't know what the guy did first. You don't know what Amon-Ra said to Deron Payne or did first, even though you have to keep your cool and not throw a punch. But you don't know what that guy did to Quan Martin. So, and like I said, not only that, you have guys crashing out and getting penalties. Guys are getting scored on and crashing out and getting 15-yard penalties after that. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look either. So you're losing guys disciplinary-wise, and guys are just checking out clearly from what it looks like. Let's get a quick word from Sleeper. Let's get back into the video. Oh, let's go, Commanders fans, and shout out to today's sponsor, Sleeper. Just want to hook you guys up with a great deal. First time users get a 100% deposit match up to $100 if you sign up using the link down below in the description for Sleeper. Remember that terms and conditions apply. Also, there's a free $20 entry as well that I'm going to help you guys out using promo code Oliver. You guys can get those deals for first-time users using the app. Number one daily fantasy sports app, Sleeper. So let's get into the picks for the game against the Lions. Now, of course, Sleeper is you pick more or less on player props, receiving yards, passing yards, rushing yards, receptions, all kinds of stuff that you can think of for player stats. You pick them more or less on their player props. So we're going to go with a system play. 6 out of 9 quarterbacks that have played against the Commanders have gotten more on their passing touchdowns from Geno Smith, Sam Darnold had 4 in the first half. So we're going to keep it going with Jared Goff, more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and you pair that with the free play with Daniel Jones over a half a passing yard. So let's keep it going, unfortunately, with players getting more than their passing touchdowns. So 6 out of 9 quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes did it. Dak Prescott did it. Basically almost every quarterback we played. Like I said, Michael Penix went over his passing touchdowns as well. So let's keep it going with the system play against the bad Commanders defense. Let's get back to the video. Peace. Joe Whitt Jr., he does great in the press conferences. He does great in the pressers. He always liked to say guys putting capes on and stuff like that. That was his excuse for why they weren't playing well. That excuse just ran out, man. That just ran out. You can't play man. You can't play zone. Marshawn Lattimore saying zone. They're running man beaters and stuff like that, which they were. You just don't have the personnel to run zone. You just don't. You don't have the pass rush. Now, what I will say, an excuse for Joe Whitt Jr., which he probably will go back to being a pass game coordinator or he'll be a college coach or something like that. I could definitely see something like that in his future. And Dan Quinn, he's just so nice, man. He's just such a nice guy. He doesn't want to fire anybody. He doesn't want to fire anybody, and it is what it is. You just got to fire guys. I know he clearly fired guys probably with the Falcons as well. I'm not sure if he did or not. But sometimes you just got to put your foot down and fire people, man. You just have to. You're fired. You just got to fire people. And whether you like them or not, I mean, clearly he likes them because he brought them from Dallas. They were good buds. They worked well together with Dallas. And Dan Quinn, he's just such a nice, likable guy. Everybody likes Dan Quinn. He's such a likable guy. That's why Michael Parsons raves about him. That's why Trayvon Diggs, when he was on Michael Parsons' podcast talking about Dan Quinn showing boxing videos and he just puts a battery in your back. That's what Trayvon Diggs said about Dan Quinn. He's just such a nice, likable guy. And sometimes you just got to be an a-hole. And Dan Quinn knows that. He's been coaching for years, so I'm not saying that he doesn't know when to turn it on and turn it off and stuff like that. But this situation, he definitely wanted to ride the wheels until they fell off. And like John Keim said, he was not going to fire him. Brian Daboll got fired today. He deserved to be fired. I thought he possibly should have gotten fired last year, but that's another story with the Giants and their organization. But yes, Joe Whitt Jr. will not. And now he's just a lame duck. That's the thing too. Like now you're just sitting there and not doing anything. Like what is your purpose of being there? If you're not calling plays, and your title is the defensive coordinator, like what is your title? Like what are you there for? In my opinion, honestly. Now look, like I said, he didn't have the personnel. Dorrance Armstrong injured, Dietrich Wise injured, Will Harris injured, John Baptiste injured. So many guys out with injuries, man. It was just a lot. It was a lot. So I'm not gonna lie to you, like injuries are not a factor or were not a factor. But still, guys should not be running wide open with yak and just being able to just run around and do what they feel like doing. Sam Darnold should not be able to throw 4 passing touchdowns in the first half. You should at least force one punt. You couldn't force one punt yesterday. Give my man Jalen Lane a chance to return a punt, for crying out loud. He can't even get a chance to return a punt. The best thing that Jalen Lane is doing, he can't even do it because we can't force a punt. We just don't know how to force a punt. We're that bad. When it's against Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, it was what, 1st and 27? Like they had a bunch of penalties. They were back to 1st and 25, I think, or something like that. Something ridiculous. And they still got the first down. They didn't even need a 4th down to get the first down. Because typically it's like, oh, we'll get like 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. Or it will be 3rd and 10, and then they'll make it 4th and 2. But no, they got the 25 yards and 3 downs. Made it look easy. And it's just bad, man. It's just bad. So I wish Joe Whitt Jr. the best because he is going to be fired on Black Monday. He's going to be gone, and rightfully so, man. Like I said, I don't root for people to get fired and stuff like that, but it's just time. His key card does not need to work anymore at in Ashburn or at Landover, Maryland. Either one. And Dan Quinn, we'll see. We'll be judging him too. I'll be judging him too, like for real. Like he's putting his neck out there too, because if they give up 35 to the Dolphins, or even let's say even 28-30, that's still a bad look to me, in my opinion. I know they just beat the Bills. I get it. But if you give up 28-30 to the Dolphins, it's a bad look on him, man. It is. And I'm not in the camp of firing Dan Quinn because he had an awesome year last year. He was super aggressive, uber aggressive. He put the battery in everybody's back. 4th and 9. He didn't give a crap. He was going for it. We were getting it. I had the utmost confidence in the world. It could be 4th and 13, and I still felt like we were getting. Some of that's just Jaden Daniels last year, how good he was, like against the Eagles when he juked Jalen Carter out of his shoes and ran for a first down, like a 4th and 13, 4th and 11, whatever it was. Stuff like that. That's not coaching. That's just, some of it is coaching because you believe in your player to do that, and you just have the guts and the cojones to do it and go for it on 4th down. Some of it you just didn't have a choice. But this year he's been kind of Dan Quinn has been a little timid at times, reserved, wasting timeouts, calling a timeout before you get scored on, before you give him an easy touchdown. So I could go on and ether Dan Quinn, but I'm a big Dan Quinn fan. I would not fire him. I would keep him for the next 3-4 years, in my opinion. I mean, of course, he has to perform, but I would keep him for his whole contract. I would give him his whole contract, unless we win like 3-14 next year. Knock on wood. I highly doubt that happens. So Joe Whitt, he will continue assisting the game plan during the week and will move back to the box on game day. So he's going back to the box. That's the update there too. He's going back to the box. So he won't be making any calling any plays, but he will be going up to the box. So we'll see what Ken Norton Jr. does too. I want to see what his role is, if he does anything or anything like that. He's not going to be calling plays, but I just want to see how active Ken Norton is on the sideline, because next year he may fool around and just promote Ken Norton. That's how much he loves his guys, instead of going outside against somebody else. Matt Patricia with Ohio State is doing a good job. So I've seen some people bring him up as a possible defensive coordinator replacement. So we'll see what happens with that. In other news, Trey Amos has a fractured fibula. He's going to miss some time. So that's unfortunate news. Next man up, unfortunately. We don't have a lot of guys at all. And this is what I said, like, NFL caliber players. We're going to run out of NFL caliber players. We are. It's going to get real XFL-ish pretty soon. It really is. It's going to get XFL-ish pretty soon, and not NFL level play. It's just that's how bad it's going to be pretty soon, unfortunately. So Trey Amos is going to be missing some time. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future with the next couple of weeks. They don't even have him on the. Oh, hey, he's out. Antonio Hamilton Sr. is the next man up at left corner on the depth chart. So you have John Jones, who's questionable himself. He got hurt. So it's going to be bad, man. It's going to be bad, man. We're going to get beat up on by the Dolphins. Noah Eyes got to step up and play. So we'll see how this goes. They got to sign another corner. They just signed a corner. Who they signed? They signed Trey something, who was on the Giants for a little bit. Trey Hawkins is his name. Kendall Fuller's a free agent. Asante Samuel Jr., I think he signed with somebody else. Stephon Gilmore, you might as well bring him in for the last couple of games. Just have somebody competent. Have somebody at least NFL level. That's what it's going to get real XFL-ish pretty soon. Like I said, Sam Hartman might play a game. Josh Johnson might play a game. It's going to get really dark for the last couple of games. Let's see that. And Jaden better not play another game. He's not flying to Madrid. Terry's flying to Madrid. But they better not play Jaden Daniels again. He better not play another game. It's just not worth it. And we're out of it. JCM, I didn't hear anything about Chris Rodriguez, so we'll see what happens with him. I'm intrigued to see what happens with him this week. But the Dolphins' rush defense is bad, but we've gone up against bad rush defenses, and we still haven't been able to do anything. That's the awful thing about it. But I do want to see what Bill does this week against a bad rush defense in the Dolphins. So, all right, you guys, as always, hello, Commanders. Peace.